The odds of the Panthers winning the NFC South, and right now they're projected to finish third. Yes, the third highest odds out of 4 to win the division. Seems kind of low. With the legalization of sports betting in the United States, it's becoming more and more widespread with fans getting involved on the action. To be honest, when done responsibly, sports betting can make any kind of game more interesting. But one thing I like to do is prop bets. And prop bets are basically you pick over or under how certain players are going to perform. So if Vegas predicts that there's going to be 58 yards by Adam Thielen, you can decide if he'll go over those 58 or below. If you get it correct, you win money. So the philosophy is that Vegas wants to make their projection as close to what they think is going to happen as possible. That way they get even distribution on the over and below. They also have projections for the season. And when I looked at what they have for the Carolina Panthers, there was a lot of disrespect is what I got to say. And I understand that it's a rookie quarterback, new coaching regime, brand new defense. There's a lot of question marks on this team, but dadgummit, some of this stuff is just flat out disrespectful and it doesn't make sense. So even though that's there and I feel some type of way about it, when there's disrespect, there is value to be taken advantage of. So in this video, we're going to look at some of the projections that Vegas has made for the Panthers, and I'm going to point you in some of the best bets that you can make if you want to make some money, potentially turn a profit this year while watching your favorite team. We got all that and more. We're starting right now. What up, though? It's Aaron Duncan here with the Necessary Blunt and Sports Talk recap and analysis of the Panthers is what I do here. So make sure you are subscribed and hit that bell icon to get notifications when I drop video, and also give this video a thumbs up because it really helps me out in the algorithm. But also, if you want to follow along with me, I'm using Bovada.lv. Yes, Bovada.lv is an online sports betting platform that you can use, that you have to use on your browser, and I use this as well. If you want to get on with it, they're having a deposit bonus, and you'll pretty much help me out. You help yourself out. I'm saying they're going to match your first deposit up to 100%. So you get paid, we get paid, and you get some extra money to play around with going into this NFL season. The only other thing I ask is to please play responsibly. Do not go messing around with your rent money, your car note money. Don't be on the side of the road playing with some serious money. You're not going to get rich off this, but if you have some disposable side money that you can play around with, that you were going to play around with, it can be a good little thing to make the game interesting and possibly get a nice little return on your investment. But please play responsibly, okay? All right, let's go. So, of course, they have the win total projected, and right now the Carolina Panthers are sitting at 7.5. Now, I'm not touching this one because I personally predict we're going to win between 7 to 10 games, but things can go left and right depending on injuries, and I just don't feel comfortable putting money down on that. Now, I respect them giving us those 7, potentially 8 wins, but that's just not something I see any value in right now. And yes, I'm hopeful that we do better than that, but I'm not going to let my fanhood get in the way and causing me to lose some money. The other one I looked at is the odds of the Panthers winning the NFC South. And right now they're projected to finish third. Yes, the third highest odds out of 4 to win the division. Seems kind of low, but like I said, that value and that return doesn't seem like enough for me. It may be something that I'll sprinkle on later on in the season as those odds start to fluctuate, but not something that I want to do right now in preseason. But the first player prop that I wanted to get into that I think is just juicy and is my favorite one on this list is J.C. Horn's interception. And right now, Vegas is projecting J.C. Horn to have 1.5 interceptions. Now, you can predict to go over or under. I'm looking at the over, and that's going to be at -20, meaning that if you put $120 down, you're going to win $100. You don't have to put $120 down. You can put down $12 and win $10. That's just the ratio and the odds that you win. You can put any amount on it. However, it's going to pay that -120 is the odds and how it's broken down. However, 1.5 interceptions for J.C. Horn just seems extremely low. Like, I'm not even understanding this. I know he has his injury concerns. However, if he plays double-digit games, he will easily exceed this. In his rookie year, he had 1 pick and he only played 3 games. He also had 2 other pass deflections, meaning he got his hands on a total of 3 balls, and he caught 1 interception in 3 games. That's already halfway towards his projection. Not to mention this past season, when he played 13 games, he had 3. I think if J.C. Horn plays double-digit games, this will be a no-brainer. This is my favorite pick out of all of these. Like I said, it's not a big return, but I still just think there's a ton of value here. And J.C. Horn over 1.5 interceptions is just my favorite play of all of these. The next one I'm looking at is going to go to the offensive side of the ball. We're looking at Adam Thielen, and the first one is going to be his total yards. Now, his receiving yards total right now is set at 550.5 yards, and it's even money if you bet over, meaning that if you put in $100 for him to go over, you're going to win $100. If you put in $10 for him to go over, you're going to win $10. But 550.5 yards, I'm taking the over on this personally. He's been over this total since he's been a full-time starter in the league. 6 out of the 7 years, he's been over this, and the one time that he didn't go over, he was injured. He's also will likely be the wide receiver 1 for Bryce Young because there's some injuries and question marks everywhere else, but we already saw in the preseason that they had some chemistry, especially with some of the other experienced receivers went out. Adam Thielen was the guy that he leaned on a ton. And so 550 yards just doesn't seem like a lot of yards for Adam Thielen. And I'm really excited about this. Another one that I like for him is his touchdown total. He's projected to 4.5 touchdowns, and going over is even money as well, just like his yardage. I love this one more than the yards, to be honest, because even though Thielen may be washed and can't separate like some Vikings fans say, his red zone ability is always good, and he led the Vikings last year in red zone targets. Yes, he even outpaced the best receiver in the game, Justin Jefferson, by 9 red zone targets. He had 23 red zone targets. You only need him to catch 5 of those and get in the end zone on that way. Not just that, red zone is his specialty. He was number 8 in the NFL in red zone targets overall. With the Panthers not having really a power back, passing the ball in the red zone could be their key to success to get points on the board. And he's crafty. He's good at route running, and he doesn't need a ton of separation because he has very dependable hands. So I love Adam Thielen over 4.5 touchdowns as well. I think it's easy money. The next we're going to look at, stay on the offensive side of the ball. We're going to go with Miles Sanders. 5.5 touchdowns, and I'm looking at the over here, and that's going to be minus 130, meaning that if you bet $130, you're going to win 10. I mean $100. If you bet $13, you're going to win 10. If you bet $6.50, you'll win $5. Whatever you want to bet, that's the ratio that you're going to get back as your return on the investment in terms of profit. Now, with Miles Sanders, I already talked about us not really having a short yardage back, so he will be getting a majority of the goal line touches, in my opinion, because I don't see Chuba Hubbard vulturing any touchdowns for him, being that he's a little bit smaller on that spectrum than Miles Sanders. But Miles Sanders is also top 5 in red zone carries last year with the Eagles. He was top 5 in carries inside the 5-yard line in terms of running backs as well last year. And with the Eagles, he had 11 touchdowns last year, and that's with Jalen Hurts vulturing a lot of his touchdowns, being that little illegal push thing that they like to do. It's not illegal, but it's really legal. But Jalen Hurts stole a lot of opportunities from him as a running back because Jalen Hurts is a great runner with the football. They can push him in the end zone. He can run that zone read. Bryce Young is not that type of quarterback. So all the goal line carries and opportunities will be going to Miles Sanders. I think 5.5 touchdowns is a fair mark, but I could see him easily ending up with 7 or 8 touchdowns. I love Miles Sanders going over this total. So those were my top 3 favorite bets for the Panthers, but I have a whole list of other ones that I think could be opportunities that you should consider. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first one is going to be Brian Burns over 10.75 sacks, meaning that you need him to get at least 11 sacks. If he gets 10.5, you're not going to win. The odds on this one are plus 120. Meaning, if you bet $100, you're going to win $120. If you bet $10, you're going to win $12. So yes, plus money gives you a little bit extra profit than what you put in. So I always love these type of bets. Brian Burns came off his first double-digit sack season last year, having 13 sacks. He went over for the first time, so you may be seeing like, okay, this is kind of skeptical dunk. However, he had 68 total pressures last year, and I think this 3-4 defense that he has is going to do wonders for him. It's the natural position that he probably should have played from day one in this league, and it allows him to really get skinny and make moves on guys and really use that length and that power that he's added to his game now. I really love Brian Burns in this spot to have a breakout year, especially with Justin Houston on the opposite side of him, being able to take some attention off of him. I love Brian Burns to get double-digit sacks and not just get double-digit with 10, but to get 11 and cash you out on that plus 120. The next one is for Bryce Young to lead the rookie quarterbacks in passing yards, and that's going to be at odds of minus 115. And the odds aren't that great, but I think if you look at the competition, I think this is a shoe-in. If Bryce Young is healthy, this will be a layup, because think about the only other starting rookie quarterbacks that he's potentially going up against. It's going to be Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson, we know there's some question marks about his passing ability and his growth there. There's progress still to be made. So I think with their weapons and what they have going on in Indy, I don't see him being much of a factor. C.J. Stroud could be a factor. Very good passer, very good in the pocket. Now, does he have the system and the weapons to be able to get it done? Will Houston be behind so many times that they're going to be in a lot of passing opportunities? That could potentially happen. So that's what you have to worry about there. However, I feel like Bryce Young is the clear-cut best rookie quarterback. He showed more poise in preseason. I think if he's healthy and plays a majority of the season, and even if he plays 13, 14 games, I think this is a layup for him to lead all rookie quarterbacks. Yes, there could be some other guys that come in after their starters get benched, but I see Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud having multiple game head start on accumulating passing yards. So I love Bryce Young here to lead all rookie quarterbacks in passing. Next up is Shaq Thompson, over 109.5 tackles. That over is going to come in at odds of -115. And I like this one because Shaq Thompson, since 2019, since he's pretty much been the man for the Panthers, and Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis have gone, he's exceeded this total every season but one. In that season that he didn't exceed it, he missed 3 games, and he still had 104 total tackles. He's been the man in the middle. He's been very consistent, and in this system, he's going to be an every down linebacker. I can see every other player on this defense alternating out and getting a rest because of different skills that they have. But Shaq Thompson will be that one constant in the middle playing linebacker. I think this is easy money as well. One of my favorite bets, but I will be putting money on Shaq Thompson to go over 109.5 tackles. And of course, Bryce Young, Rookie of the Year odds are at +360. He is the second favorite behind Bijan Robinson. I think this is another thing that comes down to Bryce Young's health. I like Bijan. He will be productive, and the flash could get the media behind him. However, a lot of times quarterbacks, the Rookie of the Year rule is just like MVP, where it's a quarterback award. So if Bryce can look competent, play every game, win us some games that come up clutch, that media buzz starts going, Bryce Young could have an inside track, and that +360, meaning if you bet $100, you will win $360. That is a great return on your investment. So I like those Bryce Young Rookie of the Year odds. So let's take a look at some of the Panthers season outcome in terms of the division, because right now they're projected to have 3.5 division wins. Yes. So they play a total of 6 division games. Yes. Every other opponent twice. And they're projected to have just over a 500 record. Now let's put this in perspective, because the Panthers actually went over this total last year, even with all the turmoil that we had with Matt Rule, even with Steve Wilks taking over midseason, even with us having a revolving door at quarterback. Yes, it was a down year for this division, but the fact that they swept the Saints, should have swept the Falcons, and had beat the Bucs and had a close game, they could have easily won 5 games, maybe even swept it last year if one thing goes right, and obviously with the injuries to that final Bucs game. So that got ugly. You could even sprinkle on them sweeping the division and getting 6 division wins at +4,000, meaning if you put down $100, you will win $4,000. I think it's worth sprinkling a little bit of dollars on that, but I do love them going over this 3.5 division win total. I can see them sweeping the Falcons. Obviously, potential for the Bucs as well, depending on how Baker Mayfield goes. We know it's kind of a mess of what they're doing at quarterback, and I don't think the Saints are world beaters, so I think there's opportunity for them to go over 500 in the division, and that's all you need, and that's going to pay +200, meaning that you're going to double your money. You put in 100, it's going to give you a return of $200. So I like that odds. But one last nugget that's not Panthers related that I noticed is the Saints sweeping the Falcons. And the only reason I'm mentioning this is because the odds on this are just too juicy for me to pass up. The Saints sweeping the Falcons are at +225. I think that the Saints are the most talented team on paper. They have the most ability at quarterback. Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Chris Olave. Their defense has been straight. You know what I'm saying? They've lost a little bit up front on the offensive line, but I still think on paper they're head over heels above the Falcons. They've had the Falcons number over the past few years. I can see the Saints easily sweeping the Falcons this year again, and I just think +225 is too good to pass up. So I had to bring that up even on a Panthers video. You guys let me know down below in the comments if any of these things interest you, or you want to get into sports betting. If you want more information about looking up some of this stuff, hit me up down below in the comments. Let's go ahead and make some money together. But hurry up and get these in before Sunday, because a lot of this stuff for the season, the projections, they expire once the season officially starts. So make sure you get those in. Without further ado, I'm Aaron Duncan signing off. This is Unnecessary Bluntness Sports Talk. If you want to sign up for Bovada and get that deposit bonus, check down below in the description. Without further ado, I'll see you next time. Peace.